This meeting is being recorded.
It's like, okay, my volume was on the low. How's everyone doing, folks?
I'm good, just a bit bake. I was running.
Can you hear us, see us well? Hello, Mr.
Yeah.
Rob.
Hello, Rob.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
Yeah. It's all happening this week. We get the keys for the new house tomorrow.
Oh, that's exciting, man. Congrats. Expecting the tour tomorrow.
You're alive.
Yeah.
Hey, Dita. Hey, Leslie.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Seeing y'all, folks.
How are you?
Good. I had to race across town from the hairdressers, so just made it. And I'm not looking for you to say your hair looks good or anything. But it's 23 degrees here today, and it was a hot rush getting over here.
We've been having like 45 degrees and probably over 55 on the sun in the last like 3 weeks. So it was.
Okay. Well, I think we've been having about 12 degrees
Nice.
Yeah.
and wet.
Very wet.
Awesome, folks.
Good to see you all.
Hell yeah.
What the fuck?
So I have a question first. Does anyone here have questions that maybe you haven't put in the school, just so we know how many of you have questions and so on? You can raise your hand on Zoom or like virtually or literally. Or you can type it in a chat if you can talk. Okay, I see some questions from Maribo, from Patricia.
Yeah.
I mean, questions in the Zoom.
They also have questions in the group.
Yeah, that's what I meant. On the school, not Zoom.
That's it. Basically, when he says Zoom, guys, that's everything.
Yeah.
It's the heat. It's frying him.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So, by the way, a few updates before we start with the questions. So, next week we are starting a really fun little accountability challenge for everyone. I know this will be helpful, and we prepared some rewards and some cool stuff. So that's one of the things we have coming. We're gonna start releasing the course portion as well. That's the second thing. The third thing will be some behind the scenes stuff. So that's also gonna be interesting for a bit more advanced folks. So we have something for everyone, whether you're beginner, advanced, somewhere in between. In the next week, probably already tomorrow with some stuff, on Monday with something else. We're gonna have a lot of new things. So yeah, just wanted to briefly share that.
Yeah, I will be we spoke about also sharing behind the scenes stuff. So I will be adding something right now today that I'm working on, and I think there's going to be lots of cool stuff for you to see, like figuring out the angles, the problem, how to mechanize the problem, how to mechanize the solution, how to get their curiosity to actually even like click or ask for it, etc. Then how to structure like the whole like pitch, how to promote it on the front end, like the hooks and everything. So I'm actually recording a video for you guys now. So that's literally behind the scenes, and that's something that we have never done, never shared like especially not while working on it. I mean, I don't think I've ever written me, or maybe you did once with the project money flow.
Yeah, I did. It's a new
Yeah,
bug.
yeah. I've never shared anything like that, so this is going to be first time like exclusive. So you can see, I think it will give you lots of ideas, and obviously if you have any questions about it, maybe you want to use it for some of your stuff, etc.
Yeah. So this
So
will be
that's going to
super
be cool.
helpful, especially for those of you who are intermediate or a bit advanced. That's going to be, I mean, obviously, even if you're a beginner, you can get a lot of like aha
Yeah,
moments and insights.
especially
But
content, sorry, especially content and messaging, like that part for sure.
yeah, and if you're like total beginner, again, we're starting to release more stuff around profile. Like I'm creating something um, around your social media profile as well as content you're gonna post on there. So we'll have something for both parties.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So want to answer these questions first, or
So I was gonna say, if you got, I know I'm looking at questions right now. So if you purchase, this goes for anyone, this goes for people in the future as well watching this. If you are on accelerator plan, make sure you submit your questions in the classroom because you have priority Q&A. This will be more relevant as group grows and as there are more questions every week. Now we'll probably get to every single question. But if you want, that is if you want question answered on the call. If you're just asking like this and we can answer on school, you can just keep posting as you did in the biz questions part. But if you want specifically question answered on the call, just go in the classroom. You will see a place for accelerator members, and you can ask over there. And we will start always the calls by answering those questions first, and then the rest, how much we get. So what are we starting with? Are you gonna share the screen?
sure, okay. So to start with these questions in the school group.
Yeah, we can.
So maybe to start with Patricia's question.
Yeah, whatever.
Because I think it's going to be relevant to quite a few people when it comes to consistency and so on. I can zoom in. I can't. Do you want me to read, or you guys can see the?
Maybe you can skim through it just.
So basically, she has some personal stuff that's keeping her or kept her away from business, and she's coming back. So she still had some sales, leads, engagement on post, but now the flow is low, and is creating content, and even I suppose stuff already means she already batched some stuff. She's not posting consistently or showing up much. And it's not, I'll just mute you, editor. And it's not about if she's doubting her content quality or being being afraid of judgment. She's not new, obviously, we know. Can help others. So she's not sure, obviously, what is it. I try to set a schedule, follow my to-do list, find hard to stick to it, feel a bit lost in terms of how to recover the momentum I had, take the business to the next level. Also, she paused her group for the last couple of months, so wants to reactivate everything, increase leads, obviously, sales, right? So what's the best way to do that, and what to focus on the most?
So the way you framed it, you posed the problem, but you didn't have specific questions on it, and then you had questions on the group and reactivating it. But I assume the first part is also like a problem, like getting back into it, creating content. So my initial thought before I read this part that you are not afraid of being judged. So since you're on the live, I don't know if you can talk. If you create
Yeah, I'm
content,
here.
nice. So if you create content and you just need to publish, and if it's not fear of being judged, what stops you from publishing it?
Yeah, I
I
had
don't
the
know. I
same
guess
thought.
I'm just, it sounds bad, but I guess I'm just being lazy, or not lazy, but I'm getting overwhelmed out of nothing. It's like, I guess I'm letting my head play with me. And yeah, I see as a consistency problem, though you told me this morning that you don't think it's consistency, that it's more like mindset, right?
Yeah, I still think that, because if you didn't write the post, then I would say, yeah, maybe you're not consistent.
No, I have content ready. I have reels. I have all the captions, the hashtags, all of it. But I'm not posting, and I'm also finding it hard, like, to stay on Messenger, and to get back to the flow of doing all the income producing activities every day.
Okay, so let's assume it's not a mindset issue. Then it could be that it's just let's say you used
And
to
I got
wake
the
up.
time to, like, because I don't, like, this is my business. This is what I do full time. I don't have a 9 to 5 or anything like that.
Yeah, so assuming you were in a gym working out 5 days a week, hour every day, or for 5 days, and you paused and you're coming back, you cannot uh like just continue as if there was no pause, right? Like it would take time to build up that at scale. So I would say maybe tone it down as compared to what you did before. So if you were posting, I don't know, once, twice per day, adding, like, I'm just giving examples, adding 30 people, talking to 30 people, maybe you can't meet these numbers right away. So just tone it down to what you can manage. Even though you have time, I would say that's one thing. So I'm still not sure if it's like a mindset thing or it's just this. So we can tackle this from a couple of different angles. So that's one thing that comes to mind. Another one is like almost like scheduling. So I have a time when I do some things throughout the day. So you can have a certain time of the day when you create content, when you post content, when you talk to people, etc. That can also be helpful. Like putting one side of the day for activities where you are proactive, like creating content, creating something behind the scenes, reviving the group, creating trainings, late minutes, whatever it is. And when you're being more reactive, which is like, okay, now I respond to comments, respond to messages, etc. So not mixing them, that can also help. And another thing that maybe you have, I don't know if it's a similar issue that I have. So sometimes I rarely create content ahead of time. But if sometimes it happens, and at that moment that I want to post, I don't feel like what I felt when I was writing this post, I find it hard to post it, because I don't know how to explain it without it being like woo. But it's almost like my energy needs to align with what I want to post. So I don't know if I was having let's say I was having amazing day, something happened, then I created a post about it, and let's say I didn't get to post it and I want to post it tomorrow, and tomorrow comes and it's a horrible day, I hate myself, hate my life, hate my business and everything, I feel misaligned with that post, and I would actually have hard time sharing that post. So I don't know if that is the issue, like you have all this pre-created content, but maybe you're not feeling like that at that moment. Maybe that's it. I'm still not 100% sure what's the issue, because you do create a content and you just need to click publish. So not really sure what else can it be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it still sounds something when it comes to mindset. I mean, you, as far as I understand, you have content ready, you have the time, you do it full time, like, so you need to click publish, and you said you feel like you're lazy. But I mean, if you felt lazy writing content, but to just click publish and got everything ready, hashtags, everything. And the way you phrase the question could be actually the expectations, I think, it's very hard to get back into it once you feel like momentum, like you mentioned how your group was on pause, how you were away, like in general from, Facebook. So your lead flow is down, all of that. And so you know that it takes in the beginning way more, right? You need to push the rock up the hill again. And
Yeah,
then
sadly.
so when you want to post that first piece of content, because you have experience, you're aware of that that's not enough. It's going to take a while to build goodwill, to reconnect with people, to get the momentum going. And maybe that the expectation, you feel like this piece of content won't do anything. And then like, it's not worth it. So you don't even click that publish.
Yeah, it's a
that's
little
how it
bit of
sounds to
that.
me.
It's a little bit of that. But then it's like the egg and the chicken, right? Because that's one of the reasons why I joined this community, because I guess it's good for me to get back to like having accountability and like a group where I can rely.
That's great, because we actually from Monday will implement something when it comes to accountability to try to help you guys, to push you to stay consistent and show up daily.
Yeah, but what Stevan said, that was my initial thought when you shared with me. It was like, it sounds like mindset. Because again, to Stevan's point, if you didn't create a content, then okay, laziness or whatever. But if you do create it and everything is prepped and you don't post it, it's probably mindset, and more specifically, expectations of yourself, of the business, of what other people would think. Because like, okay, what if I got these results before, but now like it slowed down, I wasn't as engaged, I wasn't online as much, and it will take time, right? Because we create this, like obviously our ego changes and plays a role. Like for, let's take my jiu-jitsu analogy, like if I'm now blue belt and I have certain expectations of myself and I'm rolling with lower belt, which is like a white belt, and if I feel threatened that they're gonna beat me, I'm gonna feel bad, right? Especially if other people are gonna see like, okay, these people expect me to be better, right? So maybe you have these expectations like, okay, you're not beginner marketer anymore, right? You've done like, I don't know, multiple 5 figures, you work full-time online, all of these things. And now like, what if you can't get the same results? And that's normal, by the way, for results to
Yeah,
fluctuate.
it's like I feel like maybe I should be doing something else, just posting content. But yeah, to get back to it, I should be posting content to reconnect with people, and so it's like it's a little bit what Stevan said, that it doesn't feel like it's enough just to post.
Yeah, so, but still, we can discuss what other things you should do, like re-engage in the group, adding some longer form content there, maybe working on some lead magnets, but that should not stop you from posting, right?
Yeah.
You can still post, and behind, like, I do a lot of things behind the scenes that you guys and girls can see, that I do every day, but I still post. Now, sometimes, like, there are extreme situations where, like in the last couple of weeks, we were so focused on building the community and building everything out that, and even then I was still posting, but it was a bit more difficult to manage. But even when doing behind the scenes, that's why I also recommended different schedules. So when you do behind the scenes, like you mentioned, maybe I should do something else. That something else is, for starters, probably community. So maybe the first part of the day, and again, especially since you don't have any job or anything else to work on, that's even better. So what I love to do, like first, let's say 2-3 hours in the morning, block it out, airplane mode, don't enter socials, and do the deep work, do the one thing that will move the business forward the most. And then I would say, still while I'm offline, I like to do content as well, and then post it. But I think it's still mindset like that. Like you said, you should do other things, but that doesn't explain not posting something you created. So I would say it's still
Yeah,
mindset
100%.
issue plus add these things on top. Go ahead, Rob.
Here.
You want to say something?
Just going to say, I mean, hearing what you said at first, Mia, about comparing it to the gym, then if you trained 6 days a week and I don't know deadlifted 100 kilograms or whatever, and then you had a period where you were away, you wouldn't try and go back and train 6 days a week and lift 100 kilograms. You'd drop the weight to maybe 60 and build back up. And I don't know whether this makes sense, Patricia, but maybe it's that. It's your expectation of yourself that what you used to do, you think you should be doing now. So if you used to post 6 times a week You know, maybe just set yourself a real hard goal of, I'll do 4 posts this week and build back up again. Does that kind of make sense, guys?
Yeah. That's a great analogy because actually I go to the gym, so
Well, there you go.
Exactly.
I
Especially
mean, you know, if you go to the gym after a break and try and do what you did before, you strain yourself and then you can't do anything. So that's sort of just pulling back the expectation a bit and saying, right, I'll do this much. Maybe makes a bit more sense. Hope that helps.
Yeah, plus you didn't just pause, right? Like there is, oh, I paused 3 months from the gym, and there is like you had personal issues and stuff. So in this analogy, it's like you were also injured. So it's even more difficult to get back. So I know when I had times when I had to pause, I didn't have these like months big pauses, but even for shorter ones, and I had a lot of shit going on, it was more difficult to show up in business. So you also need to take that into account, I would say.
so I should be easier on myself.
100%. You want to start there. Yeah. I can tell you that I was so hard on myself my whole life. Like, actually, it was only recent that I learned to be a bit more understanding, like, you know, like, I don't know, my self-acceptance understanding, like, raised. So I would definitely start there, but it's also figuring out its self-awareness, what gets you, you know, what, like, for me, number one thing that gets me dopamine is learning by far. I just love learning. Like, so for example, when it comes to marketing, sales, stuff like that, I like to dive into like a course or a book or whatever and start learning. And the moment I do that, I feel inspired to, you know, talk about it, to write content, to it just, you know, so, you know, it took me a while to figure that out because I never published before. So I would basically talk to my, you know, whatever friends and bore them to death because they're not interested in it, or like neighbors or whomever, you know. But really, like my wife, anybody, basically, I only didn't talk to Pepper, that's my dog, like about it. But like I just, you know, I just get so excited, inspired, like so luckily now I post content so I can use it for that or create train, whatever. And I don't mean like finding what I talk about, maybe one analogy I'll use and share. You know what I mean? I don't mean like
Yeah.
finding the whole train. It's like, but it just inspires you, you know? So I think it's also like self-awareness, like what gets you to actually, when Mio mentioned he loves posting. So I love posting when I'm inspired, for example. I do it full time. I mean, I have to, but when I'm inspired, I really love doing it. So I think it's finding, you know, what gets you going.
Agreed.
Great.
It's,
It has been useful, guys, because yeah, it helps me like to change the perspective.
yeah.
Awesome.
So as you go through it, as you now apply some things, do some things, something will work, you can celebrate it as a win. But if something doesn't work, you can drag it as a question. If it's a bigger one, but maybe we'll tackle it on a call. But if not, we can help you literally that day on the school. You can get the answer, especially if it's more tactical. Maybe you're like, okay, I want to revive the group. What do you suggest, etc. So as you're getting back into it, feel free to like ask questions and share it.
Sounds good.
Hell yeah. I
Awesome.
think there was a question from a couple of days ago, actually, from Mark about the email ecosystem. He's not here, and I don't
Yeah,
think he
here it
shared
is.
in the end the link, so I don't. We're limited to the answer we can give,
Yeah,
but is not Mark is not here, right?
no. I actually asked him also here questions because I don't know why, I don't know how we can, if we can answer. I mean, I don't know what is it.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult, but I saw your answer, and I agree that you don't need to, depending on who you target, you don't need to necessarily tell them that social media is bad and they should do this instead. It's more like an add-on, and I think even Maribel said below, like she wants to add email marketing and she is not going to stop social media. So for example, it might be relevant for her. So you want to find people like
Yeah.
that, right? And as far as your angles to dependent on social media, I mean, dependency is good. You can do that angle. That doesn't mean stop doing it. That means don't make it be like your only thing. We all know like the only thing that you own is like email emails from your people. And if I actually had, I think this was from some Facebook extension that I used, and I started getting warnings from Facebook that my account is under whatever. I sent this to Stevan. I can't remember what exactly it said. It was because of extension, but imagine like Facebook being Facebook, they could have been just boom, deleted my account or blocked or whatever. And it would still be really bad, don't get me wrong, but it would be less bad because I have email list. Actually, I even have semi backup account. So actually, I'm not going to go into that. But I was going to say, you can use that angle, stories, analogies, all these things to drive the point home. Because I like that not being too dependent versus don't use this, use email marketing instead. With your list,
Yeah.
you own it. Okay, that's the same thing. Not
Yeah.
dependent. You own the email list.
I would rather hit, as I told him in the comment, like how you can actually increase or nurture more or increase pre-sell or increase sales, adding what Maribo wants to do, adding it to your group rather than going against relying on social media or whatever, and instead using.
Yeah, so I would also say that a lot of people, and you can target them actually, because our Facebook space is the way it is. A lot of people are like, yeah, you just need, I don't know, profile and messenger, and you can make sales, right? And while that is somewhat true, that is for beginners. Like you just start out, you don't need email marketing, you don't need all this stuff. But that's like first 3 months, maybe 6 even. If you're extreme and you're doing it really well and you want to keep it simple, maybe first 12. But at one point, you start adding things, you start automating things, you start delegating things to make it easier and to create more leverage in your business. So you can target people who are still kind of like, yeah, I'll just do profile and DMs and show them that, okay, you definitely should start that way. But if you're not beginner anymore, you need to take it up to another level. And usually the next logical step is an email list. And then you also have these additional benefits. Like if you share, by the way, this is pro tip. When you're sharing questions with us, the more context you give us, this is why we have that like what's called framework for us.
Template, like, yeah.
Yeah. So the more context you give us, in this case, if it's around the offer or messaging or avatar, even links to what you sell can be extremely helpful. Like for a lot of things, including who you should target, the niche, the groups, everything comes from what you sell. So we could have, if we would have seen it, maybe we could give you more insights. So just for anyone asking questions in the future, that's a pro tip.
Absolutely. So Maribo has questions for the Facebook group. So she's preparing the launch and she wants to add trainings. So basically she wants to know what kind of posts to do in the group and trainings to really provide value.
So we start question by question because she has a lot of them.
But I think it's better to first make a summary because I think some overlap.
Okay.
So we'll answer, when we answer first one, we'll basically answer some of the ones at the bottom.
Okay.
So basically she wants to know how to, if you like put it in one, I would say she wants to know how to add value in her group. Like that's basically the whole post, the question.
She has something about growing group as well without burning out leads. You can share that you've been doing it lately. It's been really well. Market research to come up with our offers to our new tribe. To do market research to come up.
like to create some, she wants to start, she told me, with some low ticket stuff to do on her own and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. That's not necessarily just Facebook group related, but I can see the logic.
So she wants to invite them there. So she basically wants to make that kind of funnel to bring them in, to create the system. So to get them into the group and then provide value and then have a low ticket thing that she makes her own. And then from there, she has customers of her own to upsell them into maybe affiliate offers, high ticket and so on.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, that's a good idea. If she has the time, can do it. I've been doing that since like August 2021. I've been like 3 months on Facebook, I think, when I started creating my first lead magnets.
Which some say wasn't the best, but it got there.
Well, the first one, I didn't submit any other.
Oh,
I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, so when it comes to inviting people to the group, what I've been doing for quite a while now, she knows about it. I'll cover also some of that content in here in the Ecosystem Academy, the courses. So basically what I try to do with that content is get as many eyeballs as possible, increase my reach, and get a lot of people to actually engage with the post, or at least to see it. A lot of them, I actually could record that and show. A lot of them don't even engage. They just go from the post straight to the group. But it's usually like short or usually mid form. Like it's not too long, so I can get that reach. But at the same time, to increase my status authority or show it to those new people, and then without asking anything, drain the goodwill, especially people who already follow me, who have been engaging, so not to pitch them with the invite to the group, many of them are already in the group, etc. I don't actually do it on the post. I put because I get so much traffic to the post, I put the invite in the comment, but then in the comment, sometimes I literally write another post, like short form post, because it's not just a comment, sometimes it's really longer, where I explain what they're gonna get relating to that post above if they reply and join my group. So like what's in for them if they actually join, but it has to be congruent with what I'm talking about in the post. It's to a certain extent, at least. And then they just go from there to group. Actually, I have an email scheduled for today with a screenshot, like 41 requests from like 2 posts that happened like last week. So literally without talking to anybody, they just go straight to the link and they go to the group. They answer the questions, because in that comment, one of the things I also do, not every time, but most of the time, I write that they have to answer, like give them instructions what to do. They have to answer the questions to be accepted. Otherwise, they will be automatically be rejected.
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you're creating the post, you don't start it with the intention of I'll promote my group, right? Like you have a topic in mind that you want to share, you share it, and then you add a group, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think this is for everyone listening, your energy, your intention, and your post will be different if you create it with, I want to promote my group. Like people can tell. There is a difference when you do like, okay, there is this topic, I want to talk about it, provide value, show off a bit of status and authority, and then group is like a plug, an addition. Post in and of itself, even if he didn't post the group link in the first comment, post will do great. So try not to mix the two. It's like amazing post on the topic that achieves certain thing, and then this is like a bonus add-on because there are a lot of eyeballs on there that are directed to the group. Because if you just create it with that intention, people can feel it, your post will be different, and you'll have basically less group requests.
Yeah, 100%. And it also shows what's possible, because I know people who get tens of thousands of views on their TikTok or Reels or whatever and get like 1 request, and that one didn't answer the questions. They get some random vague people. So yeah. And I grew, like I trimmed the group last year, 40%. I've trimmed it once. Like I removed 40% of my members which is huge. And at the end of last year, beginning of this year, I was like at around 300 people, maybe a little bit less. And now I've crossed 600. So that's 300 something additional people without inviting one single person like in DMs. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. Obviously, you want to, but I'm just saying how it works, how well it works, right? And imagine if 300 of them have been accepted, more than 300, that means I've rejected another like 600, because you always have a lot of like maybe Forex, maybe crypto, maybe who knows what, or they don't answer the questions, I still kick them out.
Yeah, but to Stefan's point, because he now does it this way, doesn't mean you shouldn't leverage Messenger to also get invites. Like every day you can set up a small, like I remember, like depends on how extreme you can get. I remember Ivan and Eugene, OGs here remember them. If you're newer, you don't know them, but they were really big a couple of years ago. They've done multiple six figures and they had, I don't know, 2,500 person, if not more, Facebook group. And I remember every day, one of their goals, I should say, was to invite, I think, 20, if I remember. It was between 15 and 25, I think. So let's say around 20 people to the group from Messenger. That's not a big ask. Like it's not a spam of the link or whatever, but you're having Canva and you make a casual like, by the way, I have this thing in the group, or I have this group about this, or whatever. You can even use it as a cold downsell. Like if someone, let's say you were following up and they didn't buy your stuff and they're not in the group, you can be like, yeah, okay, I understand money is a problem, but feel free to join. It's a free community. You can join here. So that's the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I just want to say, sorry, it can be a really soft like transition into asking them to join and then giving them why, like what's in for them, what they're gonna get. Like I shared this before, I remember with you and Rob, when I was doing that, like I was getting like over 90% of people to tell me yes, they want to join. Like maybe one in, I don't know, 10 would say like, or even less than that, would say like, oh, I have so many trainings or whatever, usually answer like that. So that's why like they won't join now or whatever. But it's really low. Sorry, go Patricia.
Okay, so in terms of what you guys are talking about, groups and everything, so I want to reactivate my group. Do you recommend trimming it, like deleting inactive members so I can like relaunch it?
How many people you have inside?
Around 200.
Are the
And
people
also before, I think before we
Sorry?
get into that, just one point, you mentioned that basically you weren't active. So probably most of them are inactive, right? So I wouldn't trim them then now because you don't have metrics. You cannot see for real who's actually really engaging or not when you are not engaging, right? So I wouldn't start with trimming.
You wouldn't start with trimming. Okay.
Yeah, unless you have a few accounts that you know haven't been active in like 3 years, so okay. But I agree, especially at those numbers, I wouldn't trim. But I wanted to make, sorry, another point. Hope that answered your question, by the way, before I go.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I go to another point, like if you invite 10 people to the group a day, and let's say just 5 accept. So Stevan had 9. Let's say you have 5. You'll probably have more, but let's say you have 5. Times 5 days, that's if you ask just 5 days, not every day. 5 days a week, you ask 10 people, 5 accept, that's 25 a week. Or that's 100 people in the group every month. If you just invite 10 people every 5 days. And if half don't accept, don't answer, ghost you, whatever. So you can probably go more, you can go 100 something, but being conservative, you can add around 100 people. And here's the thing, and this is some of the things we're covering here. There is a reason community is like the third pillar of the inner triangle, because it just makes converting so much easier. It increases the touch points, increases the goodwill, it increases the know, like, and trust, makes nurturing easier. Even I think one of the
consumed
benefits, one of the best benefits, I would say, is like bypassing the know, like, and trust in Messenger. Because we'll show you the questions that we ask when someone joins the group, and one of the questions is around lead magnet. And 90% of people, if not more, say yes, they want the lead magnet. And then guess what? I'm gonna come. Obviously, I'm not gonna just send them the link. I'm gonna welcome them to the group. They respond, and then I can be like, yo, by the way, saw that you requested this. And I bypassed all the like, hey, how is weather in San Francisco and whatnot, all the goodwill, all the rapport building, and I can go directly to the you requested this lead magnet. Now they're all lead. It's not anymore uh, like you have the status they requested something, and it's a different story. It's a different conversation. So that's another reason why I really love groups overall.
When you say they requested the lead magnet, you're talking about the questions when they join the group, the membership questions, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
Could you guys give like some examples of those questions?
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
actually
of course.
one of the probably one of the first things
Definitely.
will come next week. I'm creating bio and Facebook group question templates. So we'll give you guys templates and you can just use them. And different variations, because there are variations of what you can do with questions. So we'll give you like if you want to collect emails, if you don't, etc. But every variation will have a lead magnet question. So yeah. But we didn't answer first question from Maribo. So what is the cadence of post?
Thank you.
I didn't hear that, but okay. So what is the cadence of posts and trainings I should have? So depends also on like your time and schedule and a lot of things. Like I know people, and that's maybe ideal if you can do one live training a week, maybe not as a beginner, but let's say aiming towards that. But let's say every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you can have one training where you teach people something, you share something that you learned, something of value, etc. And also maybe every 2, 3, 4 weeks, you can do an interview with someone. And as far as posts, you can either do, I sometimes do them, let's say I do on average like 3 to 6 times per week in the group as far as posts. Really depends. Sometimes on busier weeks, because I also create on profile, on email, I try not to repurpose, not at least, especially not the same day. I create for profile, for Facebook group, for email. So sometimes I don't post every day in the group, but overall, let's say again, I post around 3 to 6 times in terms of written posts. Mind you, I did much more interviews and trainings back in the day, and I want to get back to it because a lot of money and goodwill came from that. So do not neglect live trainings in the group and interviews and all this good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can easily create because basically you know so much right now about affiliate marketing, about Facebook organic, etc. So it depends on your avatar. If they don't know that, you're introducing them. As far as I know, that's who you're targeting. You can create so many trainings around that based on what you have seen, learned already, and so on. And so you can schedule like that, even if not weekly, like, you know, bi-weekly, or and you can also add checklists and guides if you really want to provide value, and you have so much material where you can extract that.
Yeah. And in terms of the market research, so usually, I don't know, for me, mostly it came from like observing, and I think Stevan is similar, but like observing what people struggle with, what questions they have, and it doesn't need to be just in your group, but overall, like that avatar in that niche. Observing that gave me a lot of good ideas. And here's another thing, you're not gonna make it perfect. So make sure you ask people. Before I create anything, even oftentimes, even with the free training, I would ask, like, hey, I want to do free training on X topic. Do we have people interested? And if there is like 3 people, I'm probably not gonna do it. So I'm looking for some validation of the idea before I create something. This goes especially for paid stuff, but sometimes even for free, just checking the polls on the offer, because sometimes we have this idea, but maybe even the idea is not bad, but the way we frame it, maybe it doesn't resonate with the people. So how many people? So there is not the exact number. Like if you have 11, that's it. But you wanna, I don't know, check the pulse. I don't know how to explain it. Depends on how much overall people you have in the audience, how much engagement you get in general, how much is all right for you personally. Like maybe someone will do training even for 5 people, maybe someone wouldn't do for 50. So it depends on what level you are, how much know, like, and trust you have. There are too many variables to give you like just the number, but you can have like a minimum. Like I wouldn't do it for like 4 people. I don't know. So try to go based on that, I would say.
Yeah, as far as of this, I think I've answered this because we spoke who to invite for interviews and then, I mean, guest speakers and I basically told her that the best would be, especially now starting out, to do those interviews with creators that you are already an affiliate for their products rather than some you are not. Because here she said how to make sure they buy from her link versus going directly to the course creator, right? But she means she wants to interview people she's not affiliate for their products. So honestly, I wouldn't advise doing that, especially not in the beginning. You don't know what, first of all, you don't know yourself what's in the program, what you're promoting with that interview, etc. It's harder to track. The question is how much value they're going to provide, right? If the reason they're coming to the group is because they will be able to pitch, get more leads, etc. You might invite them to the group because you want to interview them, right? So they will also, I mean, even if they don't want, they'll poach the group. Not everyone, but most will. So I wouldn't do that in the beginning. What I did, I interviewed people I was affiliate for, like in the beginning. So you can do JVs later and stuff like that, but I would advise starting with products you have, you already been through it, you know them better, you're an affiliate for it, so on. So yeah.
Yeah, so I think I was answering the different question about the market research for her own lead magnet, but as far as this, I agree. Especially in the beginning, you do want to go with the people who like the program you are already promoting, people that have that audience, the program you know and are familiar with, and in addition, like you asked here, how do you make sure they go through you? Well, first, if you gave them value and introduced, that's one thing. But additionally, you usually want to create some sort of offer, even if it's one bonus, but like make it enticing. That's one of the things about being an affiliate that helps is like, well, give them something of your own of value that they want, and they would be further incentivized to get it through you versus just going directly to
Yeah.
someone.
I think she was specifically concerned for when she invites people she's not actually doesn't have an affiliate link for, but kind of like a JV, because she was thinking inviting people she's not part of their programs and so on. And I can tell you what happened to me. I purchased like that, and I saw an interview. I'm not going to say names out of respect, but I saw an interview in one of the groups. It was affiliate, let's say, Buddy, and he interviewed his coach. I watched the interview and I was basically sold from it was like it clicked. It's literally what I wanted to invest in anyhow, but I wasn't looking in that particular program, that particular coach. I was looking at someone else. And then I thought this makes more sense, but I was in market for that, wanted to buy. After the interview, we connected and spoke. And then maybe a week later, I joined the program. I paid 5,500 for that program. So, and the person who interviewed me didn't get anything from it. I realized later when he messaged me, let's say the affiliate buddy, not to say the name, like, you actually found out about the program in my group. And I realized that the coach is aware of that, right? And he was an affiliate for them. So I reached out and I told them, I found you in this group on this interview. Like, this guy should get his commission for that, right? Like, I just completely forgot. I was focused on myself. Most people won't do that, but I did reach back, about it. And unfortunately, the guy didn't get a commission. He got like credit to use to purchase more things from the coach. So I won't say names. So yeah, So you don't want that to happen to you. So cautionary tale. So that's what I'm saying. And most people won't I actually reached back. I don't know if you remember Mio, but when I bought Meta, I already wanted to buy Meta. I saw Mio. I actually wanted to start Facebook because of him. And when I saw his live or something was like that on Facebook, and then one guy spoke with me in DMs about it, and I was already in. So I reached out back to Mio and I told him, here's what happened. I think you deserve the sale. It's your program. I found out about it from you. You know, like I already wanted to buy. But this guy, right, later, like he saw me active in your group or whatever, right? Like jumped into DMs and kept, you know, whatever. Mio actually gave the sale. I mean, I can say that name. He got a sale. He's a great guy. Nadir, maybe some of you know him. Mio told me I would rather have my affiliate make a sale. So yeah, just go with his link.
Yeah.
So, but that won't happen always. So be careful of that.
Yeah, so make sure when you promote, you do the interview, uh, put your affiliate link in
Yeah.
the comment, and again, incentivize with a bonus. That's one of the best ways to make sure, because they're gonna pay the same amount anyways. Why not get an extra thing? Now, this depends on a lot of things. I see your question on the Zoom, like on the tracking, how long is the cookie link? Is it first or last cookie? Like there are a lot of nuances. So let's say someone did watch the interview, didn't want to buy. And let's say they have a less cookie, like for CMS, I have a less person cookie. So you introduce them, but in 3 weeks, they watched the interview only, for example. But in 3 weeks, they talk to someone else and they close them. So the person that closes gets the sale in most cases. There are some nuances where that's not the case, but overall, so that tends to happen. So that's why you want to do the follow-up. You want to try to close people. However, some programs have first touch cookie, which both has pros and cons. I lost sales to first touch cookie and it sucks so bad because I've done the work, I've done the follow-up, I closed the sale, and only to see the automation following up with a guy that like send them to some free training like 2 months ago, and I would lose. I remember I lost $750 sale. Sorry, commission. It was $1,500 sale because of that. And this guy was like, I was talking to him for a while, closed him. He wanted to get in through me. He wanted to get the bonuses. He purchased through me, but he was cooked from someone else with some free stuff. And that was like how the first touch cookie works. So you want to also get to know the rules of the affiliate program and how it works. And sometimes you will lose sales like this, but it happens. That's kind of like one of the things of being an affiliate. We all lost, I think, sales, whether we knew it or not.
Yeah, but the easiest way to avoid at least having a lot of trouble around that is don't interview, you know, people you're not affiliate for. Simple as that. Have your affiliate link with the programs you are with. You know the owner. So even if someone goes later and buys, what happened with me in this case, no, that guy didn't get a commission. That was my fault. Like Nadir got a commission from Mio, right? And he didn't have to give him. But so that's what you want, relationship, you're an affiliate and so on. So you don't want to invite random people just because you think you can make money, because they don't buy that day. They go join their group, they speak with their other affiliates, whatever, and buy from someone else or from them, right? So that's the easiest way to avoid that.
Yeah.
Rob says he's done interviews with both of us and made sales. Well, that's also a huge action taking.
Yeah.
He even did really, like, when it comes to tech, he did some terrible interviews. I can tell them a quick story. I see he's holding his head. So Rob wanted to promote during the launch my program, and he invited if I can come to his group to do the interview and promote the program, right? And I was like, okay, sure. And he basically created the Zoom like this, and it was Rob, me, and one lead. And then he failed to connect that to his group, so he didn't stream to the group. No one else saw it, just like 3 of us, one lead. And I told him, not a problem, what to do now. I mean, at least you can post a recording. But then he told me he didn't record it. So basically, we did the interview for one person, And now, believe it or not, that was his first high ticket sale.
I remember that he bought it. That person bought it. That's crazy.
Sorry, I couldn't hear. I heard Edita. I didn't hear. What did you say, Rob?
You said 100% success. You know,
Exactly. 100% conversion rate.
If there were
could
5
do-
people, there would be 5 sales.
Yeah, you could use the angle like closed 100% on the interview.
I know a lot
Every-
of marketers that would
Yeah,
use
that would
this.
use that. Yeah, like every attendant bought.
it's definitely a header for the post. How to close 100% of sales on an interview.
And
Yeah.
high ticket sales, mind you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like as Mio said, there were people who would use that kind of angle.
Literally.
What can you do?
They would milk it, like not just use it in one post, they would leverage it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't wanna
Stefan loves telling that story. I think everybody who knows me.
I don't wanna say names, but I saw
It's a great story.
from a guy who loves to like over leverage and inflate stuff, and I'm not even gonna use the real numbers. because,
Well,
because some of you might recognize. But I'm not gonna say the exact number. He made like $1,000 sale, and in the post, like the beginning of the post is like he made 50K sale basically, and that's all from that 1K sale because like over time it would turn into 50K. But the way he frames it is like if you don't really read through it, it sounds like he made 50K with that. It's even bigger numbers. I actually decreased it because I don't want to say who the person is, but you'll see all this crazy stuff happening with
course, yeah.
leveraging results and stuff.
What I did, I now have to say, what I would do in those cases, I would literally message the person like who claims, or if the coach over leveraged their results, I would message them and congratulate them on those numbers on purpose. I did it earlier. So like they would publish, my client just smashed a 30K offer. And then I realized what they mean by that. The client made a 30K offer, or that can potentially, if it sells, make him 30K. But then I would reach out to the client and I would say, what is he going to buy with that? Like, congratulations, 30K. And then they would tell me basically slowly what actually happened. Yeah, I couldn't resist. When I was starting, that was really annoying me. So I would literally go and message people immediately or screenshot and send them that. And like,
so be careful when you're reading through results because marketers, I mean, we all tend to like overemphasize some things. That's normal, but some people really take it to the extreme. Like
yeah, but you still want to stay true. I mean,
yeah, it still needs to be true.
Yeah.
Posted about that this morning. In fact, you know, people who say, "Oh, my program has created 200 millionaires," and it's not their program; it's a program somebody, you know, they're an affiliate for. And secondly, whether they've created 200 millionaires or not, that's over the lifetime of the program. You know, it sounds as if they've just done it in the last 5 days or something, and it's just, I mean, you know, it follows through that how easy it is to just blow any trust there is out of the water. And once that trust is gone, you'll never ever regain it.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. That's very good point, Rob.
Yeah, unfortunately, most people don't realize it.
Yeah.
Can I add just something to the Rob and his interview? Because how it went, even if you screw up everything, you're 1 mile in front of me who didn't do anything. So for me, it's huge, you know, huge success. Even if you screw up everything, you still did a great job. So, you know,
Well,
the perspective.
Yeah, that's
how
a
much
great
in front
point.
of from someone I didn't have it. I would like to have it, but you know, you said you screw up. You didn't screw anything. You learned, freaking made a sale. What a huge! I mean, for me, like Annapurna right now. You know,
But
how
great point. Yeah, exactly. But great point about that is that there were a lot of people who could have also asked me for the interview, but they didn't, right? So, you know, like he took action. That's why I said immediately when mentioned those sales, like you took action.
Yeah, and you don't
Because
keep any time. That's another
I'd
thing.
been on a workshop with somebody else and Stefan, and it was just something that was mentioned in the workshop about, invite for an interview. And I think I messaged you before the workshop was even finished. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember in one workshop they said yes, they are willing to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that before it was over, you already say you will have it, something like that. You were very quick, something like that. But it's really great. Even if you do a wrong thing, you still know the phases, you know the questions, you go through it,
I think
Haha.
next time we need to try to do the Zoom call. We don't stream, we don't record, but we don't also invite any leads. Rob, that's the next challenge. And let's see if anyone buys. Maybe AI, the Fathom.
Now you're really taking the mickey.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people that had done interviews, had more than one people, didn't mess up the tech and didn't make sales. So
Yeah.
that happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's also
So
about like showing up. Sometimes you'll see we are preparing this accountability thing for you, and we're gonna encourage you to focus on inputs rather than outputs. So you cannot control.
Yeah.
Like, Rob didn't control that sale. It happened. It could have been the other person, and they wouldn't buy. But you
Okay.
can control the inputs. So you can do 4 interviews. You don't know if on any interview you'll make a sale, but you wanna do the actions that will make it more likely for you to make a sale. So while the results are great, they come like from inputs. So that's why we usually emphasize add people, post content, do messenger. Why? Because these are the inputs that eventually get the
Leads to the sale. Yeah.
leads, which are the outputs. So
Yeah.
focus on, instead of telling you, yeah, get 10 leads next week, I'll tell you like, yeah, create 5 pieces of content, add 30 people, message them, and you'll probably get more leads than if your
I
goal
understand.
just get leads.
Take
That's
your
also
focus
kind
on
of,
the result.
yeah, that's also maybe kind of answer to Patricia from the beginning, the first question. So not to even think about like, okay, you want to revive the group and get leads and sales, but actually you want to show up first and you want to give them some value and build some goodwill, and that's what you control really. You can't control how many leads you're gonna get or how many of them will engage or any of that. That's one thing I see when people write goals, for example. Number one thing they write is like, I want to make 2 high ticket sales this week, or I want to make 10K this month, or whatever it is, right? But you can control that. Like I was telling Mio this before the call. Like I never had those goals, really. I mean, like my goal was, okay, how many people do I need to message? How many pieces of content I need to post? Lives, interviews, whatever. And then things happen. But I cannot, sometimes you'll have someone who's ready, but things happen. Like they have an unexpected expense, whatever, they cannot afford it, they have to postpone, life happens. It happens to all of us. So we can't control that really.
Yeah. I mean, you start with that. You want to have the vision where you're going towards. How else would you know the actions to take, right? But that shouldn't be like you just start with that goal, which can be I want to build 6-figure business, but then you reverse engineer, and then what you do are the inputs, and you don't focus on 6 figures. You focus on what you need to do every week, every day, every month together. That's why I love like yearly goals. I want to achieve this, and this. But then I break down to 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 1 week, and daily. And then even though maybe goal is, I don't know, create, let's say 20K monthly recurring revenue from community, for example, maybe the action for today is like bring that Fiverr guy to finish the logo, finish that training. Like it has nothing to do with like the end goal. It's just another step of the process that eventually like gets there.
Yeah, and they're focusing on the identity. It's like Atomic Habits, James Clear, right? It's like embracing that identity, right? So if you're a marketer, full-time marketer, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You post content, you just have to. That's what you do.
That's who you are.
Yeah, that's who you are. Better said, yeah. Maribel, you want to say something? She raise her hand.
You're muted, by the way. You're muted. We can't hear you.
Sorry.
It's okay, I
You
was
guys,
reading from your lips.
She
You
said
guys
it's
were
the
talking
best.
about goals, right? So I was seeing that as recently I learned the difference between cause goals and effects goals. So like a lot of people focus on the 10K a month goal, which is like the effects, but the cause goal is like the high leverage activity, the number of posts or the number of pre-selling posts versus the number of lifestyle posts or whatever, the number of CTAs, right? Or like the number of offers you put out or the number of conversations you have, the things that you can like actually track. That would be like a high leverage activity that would cause the potential for that number. But like Stevan said, you can't really control it. You can only say your best guess is if I do 100 message thingy, message conversations in this month, maybe I'll get one high ticket sale or something like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys came with your kind of estimates, but just like knowing like if I put out this much content or this many Facebook stories or emails or whatever it is you're doing, and I just focus on that. That's my cause goal to get to that number, and you break it down by those kinds of activities.
I personally don't have it like really number specific. Maybe I should, but I have like I don't know.
don't either.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just saying.
Yeah, if I have like okay, build a community. Let's say we are like currently okay, want to get to 50, 100 members, but it's like all the things that we do inside and outside of the community. How do we build it? How do we retain people? And how do we market? Like maybe for tomorrow, for example, we're gonna record VSL on the school about page that we'll be sending people to. So it's difficult sometimes to quantify, but
Yeah.
activities that we do. But I would say for beginning, like the earlier you are, because I had the numbers before when I was just starting on Facebook, it was like add, I don't know, 20, 30 people, send them a message, post at least one piece of content a day. I was posting more. I was posting on personal profile, in my private Facebook group, and back in the day in 2020, you were still posting in other people's groups. So I was making around 4 or 5, like 500 to 1,000 word posts every single day. And those were my activities. I was like, make 5 posts, add 30 people, talk to them, repeat, and like iterate. Make a bit better post than you did yesterday or last week. Tweak like messenger approach, tweak this, like it was like incremental improvements. And you do the volume. This is what no one wants to do. They're like, I tried this week, nothing happened. It's like, I think Hormozy has his rule 100, like do 100 of primary actions for 100 days and you'll get result. It can be 100 reach outs for 100 days. It can be 100 minutes on your content for 100 days. Whatever the primary action is, and you focus on that and you do a lot of volume, like you will get results. Like even that you didn't focus on them, you will get results. Volume negates luck, as he says.
I have that printed here.
That's
above
so
me.
Outwork.
What do you say? Volume? What? Volume?
Negates luck.
Let me type
I-
it.
Yeah, it's like outwork your self-doubt. That's another one.
Yeah.
The more you do, the more luck you'll make, essentially.
Yeah.
I remember when Stevan was in some interview doing for his coach, or I don't know what, for Blake, I don't know, and he said, I am like a dog. Tell me what I need to do and I will outperform every person on
I
this
said
planet.
terrier, by the way.
Yeah, you
Dog,
said
but thank
I'm
you.
like, yes, I don't know. You said you want dog and nobody on this planet will do much. And I remember that, you know how many times I remember that. There is no person that will outperform me. I will do whatever you need.
That I was complete newbie. I messaged him that on Messenger when I was joining his program.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but by the way, I actually had this kind of realization because usually we are fast to judge the people and the programs, and there is a lot of BS, so it's supported. But as we were creating this program, as we were creating other programs, as I was watching like all the replays Hormozy did for school, do you know where people spend 80% of the time when they're creating programs? To get people to consume and take action. Like people don't do it. Like we spend incredible amount of time, money, and energy to get people in our programs to actually do something. Because you'll be surprised, people, and it's not like it's free, so you don't take action because you don't value it. Like people paid us a lot of money. Like I remember both Stevan and I were baffled. This was like whatever, over a year ago, I think. People paid like 4 figures, and most of them didn't show up. They didn't ask any questions. They didn't show up on the calls or in their business. And it was like, what did you pay for? So a lot of our time and energy goes to like, okay, getting people to implement. And that's why when you see outliers are actually people that show up and implement that, and they're consistent. Sometimes you get someone really motivated, high dopamine. They burst in like 2 weeks or 2 months, and as soon as like life happens, things slow down, they're gone. So people that like consistently, okay, let's say they watch the thing, they learn, they implement it, and they're consistent over a long enough period of time. Because it's not you implemented something, you learn from the post in this post. It's like I was doing it for 6 months and I'm a bit better every week. It's not even just doing it. It's like doing it a bit better headline, a bit better CTA, a bit better story, a bit different angle. And yeah, anyways, I don't know why I even started this story. Yeah, we were talking about volume and Stevan a dog. Um, so if
I'm gonna delete the recording, by the way.
No, it wasn't meant anything bad. Just
I'm
like
joking. I'm joking.
you
I'm just
know,
joking. Yeah, of
uh,
course.
that's a good boy.
so that's a really sometimes motivation also for me. Let's say I'm tired, I have other shit and when you're tired, and then I think 95% people will quit in this. Do extra step. The more extra step you do, you go to the percentage of less people that are willing to do that, and that helps me a lot. So to do a lot more than, and then you fell in that, and then you forgot to eat. And when I was married, I forgot to eat. I forgot to make a lunch because I was so obsessed. I could do this 24 hours a day. That's also not good because you then prove it. It's hard to make but something that needs to be, I think you need to be obsessed with this, because otherwise I don't think you can make it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's like what Hormozy says. The pain is better motivator than anything. Like when you say that, that was for me. I was really desperate to find a way to make money online. Like that was it. It wasn't like some amazing, like I was so dedicated, and I mean that came from desperation.
Yeah, same. Depressed on the job, hating my guts, hating my life, and that was the biggest motivator for me. I remember, I think, was it Rob? Were you asking me? Someone asked me on the interview, like, why did you, like, what got you to persevere? And because I had a lot of failures in the first 2 years, and many people would give up. And not only failures, but I got deeper and deeper into debt. And uh, I was trying to come up with useful answer, but it wasn't that useful. It was like I was in so much pain on the job that like I was not gonna give up. Like there was no alternative. I had to find a way.
When pain there back in your back is so much bigger that you cannot go there, then you persevere. And that's the only, if there is a lot of at least comfort in your job, in your life, you will give up because the comfort will suck you. Like if you have the pain behind you, then you don't have any other than just go and that's it.
As soon as I got comfort in my life after quitting my job, making the money, I actually, you don't know me from before. I do like 20% of what I did. Like you see me still showing up and doing stuff. I do 20% of what I did. You don't know how much I used to work from like 2018 to 2021. Like that was when I was like full mode. I obviously burned out, but at least did some things as well. Maribu, go ahead. So.
Uh, I guess my question was about referencing like that pain we were talking about when we first started affiliate marketing, because I think that's what obviously drove us to like keep going even though we weren't good. We had to embrace the stuff. You had to get over your ego. You had to learn a shit ton of skills, all this stuff. And I've had a huge, like pain behind me Untitled, but I don't really talk about it very much. Would you say it's like really important to reference that a lot, like the motivation of like your personal motivation, even if you haven't gotten like the results of like, hey, I'm full-time already, but like this is why I'm this is part of my journey. Like referencing your referencing your origin story or your pain, like your big motivator, your starting point A. Like, did you guys do that a lot? Like in the beginning when you were still kind of leveraging like your small results, or like your do you still do? Yeah, my question is, how important is that?
I would say yes, that's one of the things that builds know, like, and trust the most. Like a lot of people, I think they still to this day tell me like, yeah, whenever I hear your story, it's always motivating that you left the factory, because I shared it a lot. Even to this day, even after 4 years, actually today is 4 years and 2 months since I left my job, symbolically. So thank you. So I would say, yeah, to this day, love sharing it. And I mean, if there is some reason that you don't want to, then that's a different story. But overall, and obviously not sharing it every day, like some people overdo it, but every now and then, like sharing it, sharing the story, different angle, whatever, I would say definitely. Like sharing our stories, especially from like painful moments and our why, is one of the things that builds know, like, and trust a lot, I would say.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I don't feel like, I know that those posts tend to get the most engagement, and I don't really actually post enough of that, like that before picture. So that's good to know.
I mean, can you imagine being in debt and every month you don't know if this will happen? I mean, if this will came out, I mean, that's huge, you know, to
Yeah.
endure.
It was horrible. Like it sounds
Nah.
all motivating now, but going through it,
Yours,
like it's so easy to look in hindsight, but going through it just sucks.
and imagine you have, let's say, I don't know for your case, but I can tell in mine, having family, husband, friend, you know, clapping you down, you know, and being household, I need to rent a business, do I need to clean 2 houses, and when I wanted to do 10 hours, I couldn't work 10 hours because I have to do other stuff. And it's hard to resist that, you know, because even if you want, you don't have the time to do that, to compete with somebody who can afford to work 10 hours because you don't have that support. And that's constantly fight for, you see what's possible, and I'm willing to do that. If I freaking get 2 burnouts in 2 freaking jobs for others, I'm willing to have the 3rd one for myself. But if you don't have a support, it's really, that's why I separate. I got my separate way. I want to do this for me. I don't give a shit. I don't want anybody but my family to.
Yeah.
No.
Very-
You know?
It's super powerful when you share like this, especially like we are all our own kind of like demographic and scenario in life, but there are people that resonate more with our stories than the others. So for example, Edith, if you were to share this story,
Yeah.
not every day, a couple of times a day, but like sharing it, you'll get other women, maybe mothers, whatever, who are like, fuck, I'm going exactly through what she is describing. And that's where like that KLT is built. I can share maybe some of you don't resonate, but I share other stuff. Maybe other people resonate with that. So I would definitely say it's important to share your personal story.
I will
Although
definitely.
it doesn't need to only be origin one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you know, just, I know Moses said what he said and everything, but I still go back to Tony Robbins, who decades ago, I can remember him saying in something or other, I can't remember what, it wouldn't have been on social media in those days, but, you know, his thing was that we'll fight harder to stop somebody taking $1,000 out of our pocket than we will to actually go and find another $1,000. And I think that's where you've got to make that head switch is, you know, no, go and fight for the extra 1,000.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the PayPal story, because like all people were like, "What? You lost 10K?" And especially in Serbia, that's like 1 million in our currency, and it's like a lot. It's almost 3 years of of the salary of my previous job, and I got that frozen on PayPal, and everyone was like, "You're crazy! You need to get the money back." And I was thinking like, I couldn't even reach them. Their support, they're like just like whatever, like just you get bots that tell you the same thing and point you to like terms of service. And I remember I can use all the energy to try and recover this 10K, or I can just make another 10K. And I remember without payment processor, without anything, and made 15K in the next like 3 weeks. That was like July of 2021. So it's like, yeah, I could have focused on this, or I could open the doors and like do the other cool stuff. So yeah.
That's the one proof that skills cannot be taken away from you. You did it once, you did it freaking again. If you give me 10K and then take it away from me, I don't have nothing. But if I know how to make them, you know,
That's a post
then
for you today, Adita.
yeah, yeah. That's why I lost 10 years of my life being depressed, because one comeback 13 years ago scammed me and my ex-husband for like $65,000. 65,000 euros. We lost the property
Wow.
because in the certain time of the moment I was having like $500,000, and in 1 month I didn't have anything because I renovated 2 houses, those 2 houses that I'm going to the court now for, because okay, and because we spent every money for that 2 houses, we were kind of broke. And then I went to go to the job, and these scumbags came, and basically they were scumbags for the entire region. They were looking for like vulnerable people, offer them the job, and then scam us. So I lost the property I bought because I was a collateral for the credit he took and never gave back.
Yeah.
And then I remember one thing, it was 65, it happened in 2011, 13 years ago. And I was like 10 years, I was like, in the depression. But the guy who lent that money to that scumbags, he was an entrepreneur. And listen what he said. When I told him, will you sue them? He said, no, I will rather sell 3 more CTs, because he was selling to the healthcare, facilities, and I will earn that money in the 1 month. I don't give a shit. But me, that was my 15 years of savings. I couldn't repair that money. I was not entrepreneur to just live. And for me, it was much more pain because I lost my savings. The guy who lent that money was also scammed, but he could repair that because he have a skill of being an entrepreneur. And that it's huge pain to that slams you. When you don't know how to make money, if something like this happen, it ruins your 15 years of life. So that's one. Again, if you don't have a skill of making money, you're even more vulnerable for everything that lost. That's for another post.
It's for another post. But sorry that has happened to you. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, now that you mentioned scam, I need to share crazy story. Stevan note from the other day. I prepared a post, but probably share it tomorrow. I got scammed like, I don't remember if it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Paid this guy $2,500 to do email marketing for me for 2 months. And the promise was like, if I get 10x, he had this crazy guarantee. If he doesn't 10x the results, he'll get me my money back. But I didn't even need 10x the results. After like 2 emails that he wrote, I saw that that's not good. Then I gave him my program to go through it. I was like, maybe he can write better emails. Long story short, he didn't. And after like 1 week, I didn't even wait for 2 months. I was like, dude, like this is really bad. And I first warned him. I told him like, this is not good. I will change this. He couldn't. I guess he just sucked at it. And anyways, long story short, I was like, can you give me the money back? He was like, yeah, sure. But I spent it. So in like a couple of weeks, and couple of weeks came by, and we were got like back and forth. How is he gonna send it? And he got lost. He deactivated his Facebook account. And when I called him out publicly, I learned that he scammed other people as well. So I wasn't the only one. 3 days ago, I received I see like in the promo folder on Messenger his name, and I'm like, what? And this was like I don't remember if it was like 2021 or two, something like that. Like 3 years ago, he was gone, and I opened the message, and it was the same guy apologizing, telling me that he's been through some hard stuff, and that asking me for bank details to give me back money. And I'm like, what? And I sent him the details, and he paid me back $2,500 like the other day. And that I never heard that anyone had this experience, but I got the scammer to come back voluntarily and pay me back the money. So yeah.
Okay, if I may, do you know what's the end story of this guy scamming me 13 years ago? So I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep at night, and I pull my last money and I sue him. It's one out of 100 million that you can prove that is called business scam, because he took our money saying that I will get their job, that their company is okay, but it was zero. So that's business fraud. And it is 1 to a million that you can prove. And it took me 13 years. I chased this guy. And on September 5th, there is the last how do you say, court session, and there is big that he will go to jail for that. Whether I will get my money or not, but at least I have some satisfaction. But okay, in the meantime, my marriage broke up, so okay, because that was our joint property. But I think he got a lesson. So next time he will scam the lady from Balkans, please be aware, because I will be after you 13 years. I will hunt you like a dog. So
Like Stevan.
I will hunt you and I will, you know what I'm going to do for my money. So it's 13 years. I'll never forget. So please do not scam with me, because it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
Maribel.
sometimes need to fight. Sometimes you need to fight, because otherwise he scams so much people, just because it's so hard to prove scam. And this one, it's, I hope it will be a lesson. For me, it was very painful. I lost 10 years of my life because I couldn't forget myself. I have master degree, and this guy have 8 years of school, but his master in scamming. So I think it will be at least some satisfaction, so I can move on in my life. It's a crazy story to share something.
Yeah, hope you get the money and he gets put in jail.
Yeah, yes, I thought I would get. I thought that court forced him to pay, but fortunately, it's not. You need to hunt him down for the when court said he's guilty, then you have the legal to hunt him down for the payment. But that doesn't mean you will get the payment. You know, I didn't know that. If I would knew that, I wouldn't hunt him down. I thought it's when they say it's guilty, the court hunt him down. No, I still need to pay to hunt him down, where he's in Russia or Ukraine or whatever freak he is. So it's a lot. Yes, probably. I don't care if he goes to jail. Okay, if it's not, I will not do that. I will rather focus on making more money. It's not waste of time. It's not worth wasting time anymore. No, I'd rather focus on something better and take that as a lesson.
I agree.
Maribel, I see you have a hand up. You want to ask something, or that's from before?
Sorry, I think I had a question or something, but I forgot. So not anymore.
Okay, no worries. Well, awesome, folks. So I will upload today video so you can start seeing some behind the scenes stuff, like how I'm finding the messaging, the angles, the hooks, crafting, and all the pre-selling part, right? So I think you're going to enjoy that. If you have any questions about it, let us know, or anything else. So yeah, you can just go to the questions thread and drop them there. And it's good to see you all. So hope you enjoyed it, got some value. We will be rotating actually from next week. So one call will be me, or one will be with me. Yeah,
Also,
just so you know,
I'll
going
ask you-
forward.
we will ask you this in the group to vote, but we will ask you for times that you are usually
Yeah,
the most flexible for calls, because we want to cater to other people as well. So maybe the times will also change from week to week, so everyone can like get to benefit.
Yeah.
But it
Well,
might
awesome.
be like two times, for example, that will change between.
Yeah. So I will upload actually the Fathom link. Someone had a question, Edita had a question about the summary. We uploaded the Zoom like recording, and you cannot obviously see what was discussed and when. So I will upload the Fathom link AI, so you will have the summary and the timestamps. So you can just click and go straight to the times, like whatever the question
That was a talking, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so then you can save time and go straight there. Oh, this was whatever my question, or I want to know about that. You can just click and that's it.
But
Yeah.
if you type in dog, Stevan will delete the recording.
Okay, you can just delete that. I just want to ask one question. If I'm in this accelerator, I cannot submit the question. It's locked. It's
Oh,
okay.
okay. No worries. I will unlock it for you now.
So okay, yeah.
From mistake. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. No worries. Awesome, folks. Well, enjoy
Oh,
the
I
rest of
thought
the
it
week.
was just me.
No.
Have been unlocked a
Yeah.
while.
Then.
Have you checked?
So
Okay, because the section where you guys say like drop your question in the comments, there is no
It's
comment
locked.
section.
For me, I
You
see
know,
it's
like inside the classroom. That's why I drop it on the general thing, because there is no comment section to drop the question.
I have it locked.
It's in the
Entire
classroom,
section
right?
it's closed. It's locked.
Mine is not locked, but there is no comment section.
Yeah, I think we'll need to
okay.
create like a Google sheet for that and link
Just
it there
know.
so they can submit questions.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you for telling us. Good point.
Yeah, we'll just create.
Yeah, it's like you have like the frame for the question, and at the bottom there is nothing, like no Google Doc or no space to put comments.
Okay.
We'll put like the Google Sheet questionnaire, and you can just fill it there. But good call. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Awesome, folks. Thank you for joining the call. As always, like as you have questions, drop them in the group, and we'll get back to them. And we'll let you know as we release new stuff as well. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
Great,
Awesome.
thank you.
Welcome.